Hey guys, and welcome back to Morgs Menu. So today we're not going to be cooking, we're actually going to be making cocktails. So I have been trying out a bunch of holiday themed cocktails here recently, and I found a couple recipes that I've tweaked just a little bit and really made them really delicious cocktails to have for the holiday season and thought I would share. The good thing about these three too is they're all kind of different flavor profiles, so there's probably one in here that's going to fit into something that you'd really like to enjoy for the season. And I know some people are probably going to be having a different holiday like we did for Thanksgiving, maybe not seeing as much family as normal, so this could be a fun treat that you can do. You can just make for yourself, or you can make for a group of people that you're going to be seeing for the holiday season. So let's go ahead and head into the kitchen and try out these cocktails. Alright, so as I mentioned, we're going to be doing 3 different cocktails, so go ahead and go over all the ingredients that you'll need for each one of them and just show you step by step how to pull them together. So the 3 that we're going to be doing is the first one, a kind of Grinch themed cocktail. It's kind of a sweet and sour cocktail that's that really pretty Grinch green color. So this one's a really great one because it's really simple. You only need about 4 or 5 ingredients, some of which you may already have at home, to get that kind of really festive themed drink. So number 1, to get the green color, we're gonna need some green alcohol, obviously. So this is Midori, I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's basically a melon liqueur, but this is a really beautiful Grinch green color that just really kind of makes the whole cocktail. The only other alcohol you'll need for this is just a little bit of triple sec. For our kind of mixers, we're gonna be using a little bit of lime juice. You can use fresh lime juice if you want it, but I have this one. And then some Sprite or some sort of lemon lime soda. And then lastly, and optional, but we're gonna do a little bit of a garnish of some maraschino cherries. So this one's super simple. Basically, all you need is a shaker cup or something where you can kind of shake this or stir this really well to combine everything together. So we're gonna start with about 1.5 ounces of the Midori, add that in with some ice, and then about 1 ounce of triple sec. You could also use some sort of rum or something with a lighter flavor as well. I'm also going to add in about 1/2 to 1 ounce of lime juice. This is optional. I've done it both ways without it. It's just very sweet without the lime juice, so I think the lime juice gives a good kind of, brings in some of that sourness and cuts it a little bit, but this is completely optional if you wanted it to be sweeter. Now we're going to just go ahead and shake all of this up with some ice just to get it nice and chilled. We're then going to pour it over some more ice in a new cup and top with about 4 to 5 ounces of your Sprite. Lastly, just for garnish, we'll top with a little maraschino cherry. And here's the final product. Like I said, this is a really good one. It is a bit on the sweeter side, so if you wanted to kind of switch up the ratio of the Midori to the triple sec or rum or vodka, whatever other option you choose, you could do that. You could add more Sprite, or you could just do soda water. That would take away some of the sugariness, but it's really good. It's not overpowering at all for the sweetness, but just if you're someone who hates sweet, you may want to switch up a couple of things on this. Alright, so now for the next 2, we're actually going to make our own candy cane vodka. So you can, of course, buy, I think Smirnoff has a kind of candy cane or peppermint vodka at the store, but I wasn't able to actually find it. It was either sold out or they just weren't carrying it this season. So what I decided to do was just find a way to make it on my own, and it honestly turned out really good, and it's really easy. So basically, all you need is some vodka. I have Tito's, because personally I think Tito's is one of the best. And then you just want some candy canes. I have the little mini ones, and basically all you have to do is just throw the candy canes in the vodka. I did it in a mason jar, and then you just let it sit in the fridge until it completely dissolves. So I'll just add those in. I added in about 12 mini candy canes for 10 ounces, so you can add a little bit more or less depending on how potent you want that candy cane flavor to be within the vodka. Also, if you are using full-size candy canes, you want to break them up. And if you want to speed up the process, you could crush these up before you put it in the vodka, and then they'll dissolve faster. But basically, all I did for this was put it in, set it in the fridge, and it took about 3.5 to 4 hours for the candy canes to fully dissolve. And I just kind of took it out every 1.5 to 2 hours and just stirred it around just to see once the candy canes fully dissolved. Alright, so now that we've got our candy cane vodka ready, this next one is going to be kind of just a play on a classic good drink. Something that you probably have a lot of the ingredients for already, and that is a candy cane cranberry Moscow Mule. Now that sounds like a lot, but it's honestly just kind of takes a nice Moscow Mule, adds a couple holiday themed flavors to it, and just makes it really good. So the ingredients in this are pretty basic if you've made a Moscow Mule before. So we're of course going to need some vodka, so we're going to be using this candy cane one here. If you don't want the peppermint flavor, you could of course use regular, or if you prefer something other than vodka, I've had tequila, I've had bourbon. They're all good, just depending on kind of your personal preference. For our kind of mixers, we're going to be having some ginger beer. You can find this at basically any grocery store, and then just some cranberry juice. If you aren't using a flavored liquor like I am the candy cane, I would suggest also maybe adding in a little bit of lime juice or maybe a little extra cranberry juice just to help cut that, because the candy canes kind of cut the harshness of the vodka. And then lastly, totally optional, but I'm going to garnish with a couple cranberries as well as a candy cane, because why not? Alright, so like I said, this is another very simple one, and one that you could really alter to kind of your preferences of alcohol. But basically, you're just going to start with about 2 ounces of your candy cane vodka. Pour that into the bottom of your Moscow Mule cup or just a regular glass. We're then going to add about 3 or 4 ounces of our ginger beer, basically until it's almost full. And then top with another 2 or 3 ounces of our cranberry juice. Again, you can add more or less depending on your preference on flavors here, but I just kind of want a splash of cranberry just to kind of enhance that original Moscow Mule. Lastly, we're just going to top with some cranberries and our little candy cane, and that is it. This is super refreshing and light, really, really good. Again, this is a great one that you can just alter it to exactly how you want it, but it's a really nice kind of just play on a Moscow Mule. If that's something you have all the time, this is a great way just to make it holiday themed. Alright, so this last one is definitely the sweetest and kind of the dessert version of these holiday cocktails, and that's going to be a candy cane Mocha Mudslide. So you can do this either frozen, kind of like a smoothie or milkshake in the blender, or you can just pour it over ice. I'm just going to pour it over ice for this one, but you could do it whichever way. So alcohols we're going to need for this one, we're going to go back in with our candy cane vodka. Again, you could just use regular if you don't want to have that kind of candy cane flavor to it. And then we'll also just need some Kahlua, so we have this kind of already on hand. I did see on a couple recipes when I was kind of pulling this together that there is a peppermint mocha version of this. I never found it, and we already had this, so I was going to buy a whole nother one. But that could be something, if you only can find regular vodka, you might be able to find the kind of holiday themed version of this. We're also going to need something to make it kind of a mocha flavor, so I got this white chocolate mocha coffee creamer from Starbucks, so we're going to use this. And then you're going to want to probably play with the ratios a little bit to this, depending on how much of the mocha sweetness that you want and kind of just the creaminess. So with that, I'm also going to add just some regular, you can add regular heavy cream. This is just an almond milk version, but just kind of something just more generic and bland flavor just to kind of bring more creaminess into it. You could of course use the vanilla version if you had it, but this is something we just already had on hand and we had the unsweetened version. And I think this helps cut some of the really powerful sweetness of all the other ingredients. And then you can't have a mudslide without a little chocolate syrup that we're going to add in. And then of course we have to top with our candy canes. So this one again is super simple. You're either going to want to use a shaker cup, and if you don't have a shaker cup, for this I'd actually recommend just going ahead and throwing it in your blender and making it a kind of milkshake version, because the blender cup is really going to help all the flavors in this combine together. So we're going to start with just adding about 2 ounces of our candy cane vodka, 2 more ounces of your Kahlua, 1 to 2 ounces of your coffee creamer, and then 1 to 2 ounces of your heavy cream. If you want it a little bit sweeter, I'd do 2 to 1 cream to heavy cream, or you could go ahead and flop that if you don't want too much of the kind of sweet mocha flavor. We're also going to add about a tablespoon of chocolate syrup to this, and then just shake until everything's really, really combined. Now to make this as pretty as possible, I'm going to drizzle a little bit of chocolate syrup around the edges of the cup that we're going to use, and then add in ice. Then we're just going to pour that shaken mixture over the ice, and of course garnish with our little candy cane. Like I mentioned, this is definitely the sweetest of all of them, and kind of something you're probably going to want more of a dessert than you are as like an appetizer drink or something like that, but it's so good. This really just reminds me of like kind of a cold hot cocoa, or maybe even like an iced Starbucks holiday drink that you might get. It's definitely sweet, and you probably will only drink one of them, but it's so good and just so fun to just kind of make for that special holiday event. Alright guys, and that's going to conclude today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions on any of the recipes, feel free to leave those in comments down below. But as always, I'll leave the details of everything and the steps that I did in the description box, as well as link the original kind of inspiration recipes that I've tweaked to kind of make my own. I'll also be sharing these same recipes on my TikTok and sharing that to my Instagram, so make sure you follow me on both for smaller pieces of content throughout the week. And as always, make sure you don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the videos that I post on Wednesdays and Sundays. Thanks again for watching Morgs Menu, and I hope you have a great holiday season. Bye guys.